Good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight with Annabelle Tiffin. Our top story. The family of a couple who drowned in floodwater say their deaths were completely avoidable as a coroner points to council failures.
Not a single moment passes without us thinking of them and feeling the weight of their absence.
The family of Elaine and Philip Marco said the local authority carried the ultimate responsibility. Also tonight, one of Liverpool's most famous landmarks is transformed into a garden of light in honour of people affected by cancer.
Day 53 of going from Manchester to Australia without a plane.
How's that? We meet the cricket superfan on an epic flight-free trek to Australia to watch the Ashes. Is there any stopping Haaland as the Premier League makes its grand return?
And the change in the weather has already begun. Peter sent this picture in. Onchan on the Isle of Man, the clouds have rolled in, and that is going to sweep across all parts, along with some rain. Temperatures are on the rise. Join me at the end of the programme. I'll give you all the details.
The family of a married couple who drowned in a flash flood say their deaths were completely avoidable. Philip and Elaine Marco died in 2023 when their car became submerged in floodwater underneath a bridge on Queen's Road in Liverpool. Today, a coroner recorded a conclusion of misadventure, saying the council's failure to install warning signs had contributed to the tragedy. Eunice Muller was at the inquest.
God bless you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Philip and Elaine Marco, described as warm and loving, devoted parents and grandparents. They died just days before they could celebrate their 54th wedding anniversary. This was Queen's Drive in Liverpool on the 26th of August 2023. With rainfall said to be at monsoon level, their car was submerged in flooding and they drowned. The area has frequently flooded and there was a risk to life.
Their deaths have left an enormous void in our lives. Not a single moment passes without us thinking of them and feeling the weight of their absence.
The inquest heard if anywhere was to flood, it would be here. The coroner said the council did not appreciate the risk of flooding in this location was a risk to life, and there had been 4 previous flood incidents in 2023 alone, and many more dating back to when the road was built in the 1920s. Under the road there's a combined sewer just 1 metre below the surface compared to around 8 metres on rest of the local network, and that's because land was excavated to create that road underneath the railway bridge. During heavy rainfall there's very little space for excess wastewater to flow and it ends up going through manholes. The coroner, Andrea Rebello, concluded the deaths were down to misadventure, in part caused by the absence of flood warning signage and a failure of the risk of life being recognised.
What makes this even harder is knowing that their deaths were completely avoidable. Liverpool City Council carries the ultimate responsibility for this.
Liverpool City Council said substantial work has been carried out at the site to mitigate the risk of future flooding. This included installing barriers, signage and early warning systems, including CCTV monitoring and warning sensors. Today we could see those measures in place, but United Utilities say flooding is always likely here. They will rely on a scheme in Wavertree, where 7 million litres of water can be stored in a deep water tank. The couple were returning from their son's 40th birthday. The coroner said it was clear they were part of a loving family. He wanted everyone who knew them to celebrate their life. He said, "They'll always be with you." Eunice Muller, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Let's get a roundup of some of the other news this evening. The former mayor of Liverpool, Joe Anderson, has denied charges of bribery and misconduct in a public office. The 67-year-old was arrested as part of a Merseyside police operation looking into the awarding of commercial and business contracts. The trial is due to take place in 2027. The mother of Jay Slater, who died after going missing in Tenerife last summer, has stepped up her call for legislation to tackle online abuse targeted at grieving families. Debbie Duncan from Oswald Twistle in Lancashire is calling for social media platforms to remove false, malicious and speculative content. The RNLI says an emergency call-out prompted by reports of flares off the Cumbrian coast was likely to be a meteor shower. The team's launched after an angler reported seeing multiple flares off Drigg Beach. During a 3-hour search, several extremely bright meteors were spotted. Now, 5 years ago, when the country was trying to work out how to deal with the COVID pandemic, local mayors and council leaders were locked in intense disagreements with a government that didn't engage with them enough. That's one of the findings of the national inquiry into how the pandemic was handled, which was released yesterday. It's also led to bereaved families here wondering if their loved ones died unnecessarily, as Phil McCann reports.
It's a time that none of us like to look back to. When the streets, schools and workplaces were emptied in March of 2020, it might have seemed extreme, but it was in fact too little, too late, according to the official COVID inquiry's report out yesterday. Acting earlier, it said, could have avoided lockdowns and could have saved 23,000 lives. Sheila Lamb from Liverpool died with COVID in a care home the month the first lockdown was announced.
If that lockdown had been a week earlier, they say 23,000 lives could have been saved. So my grandma, she didn't need to die.
Ronnie died with COVID in March of 2022 in hospital where he'd been taken for a foot operation.
You shouldn't die of a foot operation. It was a betrayal on so many different levels. And what the COVID inquiry talks about is a betrayal at the highest levels of government.
But the report is also critical of the system that saw parts of the North West face some of the toughest restrictions in England. One of the aspects of the pandemic that we all became familiar with was the tier system, where you'd often have tighter COVID restrictions here in Greater Manchester than you would do just over the boundary in Cheshire. Well, today's report found that those areas in the lower tiers would often have rapidly increasing case rates, and that action would only be taken when hospitals were under strain. In fact, it found those areas in the higher tier, tier 3, well, it wasn't clear if those restrictions were sufficient. And it found the negotiation process with local leaders was often time-consuming, complex and divisive.
High noon in Greater Manchester, but the political shootout ends with Tier 3 coronavirus restrictions.
The effect of that divisiveness was on show when Greater Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham gave evidence to the inquiry last year.
It wasn't me that was behaving appallingly. It was the people in that room that were behaving appallingly.
The approach saw different restrictions in different boroughs, in some cases in different council wards.
Do you know which ward you live in?
Ward?
Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson acknowledged to the inquiry that it was confusing. From all those impacted, there's now a hope things will change.
We've got to hope that future governments will learn from this, because that wasn't the only pandemic.
There's also a hope the new Hillsborough law could make future inquiries easier for bereaved families.
So it should lead for a much smoother and much shorter inquiry process. So I think it's absolutely massive.
Lord Gove, Michael Gove, has apologised on behalf of the former Conservative government. The Prime Minister said the current government will carefully consider the report. Phil McCann, BBC North West Tonight.
People in Warrington say the permanent closure of a leisure centre where Legionella bacteria was found would devastate the local community. Woolston Hub has been shut since September. There are now concerns that it might never reopen after Warrington Council said it's struggling to find £3 million for repairs. Phil Cunliffe reports.
These were the scenes in Woolston on Saturday as around 200 people stepped up their campaign to try and save their local leisure centre. It's not just a swimming pool though. Since 2013, it's become a neighbourhood hub with a gym, a library and a doctor's surgery.
I use this hub on average 4 or 5 times a week. I use it for the gym, my kids go swimming lessons, I go to the doctors here. It really is such a crucial part of our lives. Losing it would just be devastating.
Vicky and her autistic son love the leisure centre.
We live in the local area and other swimming places are too far to travel to. We use this place weekly as a lifeline.
Indu is a local GP who uses the hub to stay fit.
They play a crucial part in managing and preventing chronic illness, but also places like our hub basically reduce the financial burden, not only on primary care services, which are overstretched, but also on adult social care and aspects of hospital care as well.
The leisure centre closed in September after Legionella was detected in the water supply. Warrington Council says tests show that the bacteria is still present.
Warrington Borough Council say that repairs are estimated to cost around £3 million. That means that permanent closure is one of the options currently on the table. It says the hub has been subsidised for some time and with budgets tight, it is currently not financially sustainable.
This is a very, very well used centre, serves the whole community. For it to close, there will just be a huge hole on this side of Warrington.
People in Warrington can share their views on the hub's future with the council as part of a consultation between now and January the 2nd. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight, Warrington.
All right, let's have a look at some stories. People are reading from BBC News, and tributes continue to be paid to the Stone Roses bassist Manny, who has died aged 63. His former bandmates called him the greatest bass player and friend we could have ever wished for. A mental health charity aims to grow up to 50,000 native tree saplings a year to regenerate woodlands in Cumbria. The project is led by the Growing Well charity. And a couple who used to go dancing at the Tower Ballroom in Blackpool are to visit the resort one last time thanks to their granddaughter's online plea. Find out more about that and other stories at bbc.co.uk/local news or on the BBC News app. Now, thousands of illuminated flowers celebrating the work of the Merseyside Clatterbridge Cancer Charity have just gone on display at Liverpool's bombed-out church. It's called the Garden of Light. Our Merseyside reporter Andy Gill has been talking to the creator and to a cancer patient who's been helped by the charity.
Silent night,
The Garden of Light in Liverpool this evening. The Clatterbridge Cancer Charity usually puts on a fundraising concert at Christmas, but this year wanted to stage something more public to raise its profile.
I'm doing very well. I've never felt so well as I do now, which worries me a little bit.
Right. Paul Dooley and his wife Pauline have dedicated a flower. He's on a clinical trial of a vaccine and immunotherapy for neck cancer.
It's very, very moving. I've been through some very, very tough treatment and surgery, but my wife has been with me every step of the way, so she's had a very, very tough time as well.
For a donation, you can dedicate a flower to a loved one, a patient or medical staff, and you can buy your flower when the display ends.
That people could actually use the garden as to remember people by, that they may have loved ones they may have lost, or to celebrate, you know, surviving their cancer treatment and doing well, or to applaud the wonderful staff at Clatterbridge.
Luminosity in the evening.
A Wirral artist made the flowers, drawing the design by hand and then having them cast in stainless steel at a workshop in Birkenhead.
I felt quite emotional as I approached it, really, because I think it's quite powerful, especially in the space that they've chosen as well. You know, and I hope people get time out to contemplate when they come here, even if they just walk into work and spot it.
There are 2,000 flowers here, each representing 20 people. That symbolises the 40,000 people across Merseyside and Cheshire treated for cancer every year at the Clatterbridge hospitals. The Garden of Light runs at the bombed-out church until December the 5th. Andy Gill, BBC North West Tonight, Liverpool.
Really beautiful. Now, if you're a cricket fan, you will know that the Ashes started this morning in Australia. The Barmy Army is there in great numbers, but one 18-year-old from Manchester is yet to make it 95 days after setting off. Tommy Lamb is travelling across the world by himself to watch the historic series, but without using one crucial mode of transport, an aeroplane. Jamie Morton has been catching up with him in Laos.
Day 53 of going from Manchester to Australia without a plane. In Lahore. Have a look at this. I love my cricket and I love my travelling. And when my dad started telling the story on holiday of these two people that did this trip in like the 1970s, I just thought it was a great combination. I knew that if I did it after school, it would collide perfectly with the Ashes, and it was just a great way to force myself off the beaten track. Lovely waterfall, nice massage on the head. Beautiful stuff.
What are some of the standout moments that you've had so far?
I'd say probably the main one has been wild camping in a cave in Iran. That was great fun. Iran and Pakistan were just mental countries. They were so much fun. I've always dreamt of going to places where there's a perceived image of that place and you can go and have your own experience of it that perhaps is different to the image portrayed generally. And Iran was definitely one of those countries. The most friendly people were around me. I didn't really feel unsafe. No, it was just unreal experiences all around.
And you're trying to spread the word of cricket as you go along, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah. I've got a cricket bat with me, cricket ball with me, although I've just lost one in northern Vietnam. I try to say every time I spend the night somewhere, I'll find a local to play cricket with me. For me, my favourite thing is going to places where you look like a very strange person coming up with a cricket bat and a cricket ball and no Google Translate, and you just have to ask someone, could you throw a ball at me?
Yeah, in the
middle of the street, what could go wrong? The main tough moment I've had so far was in Cat Ba Island in Vietnam, where I crashed my motorbike. Not that I remember very much about it. I spent about 4 nights in hospital and 6 nights in a hotel recovering from that. Thankfully, over the last couple of days, I've been able to get myself back on the road and I'm feeling much better, looking much better.
How much further have you got to go, Tommy?
I've got about a month to go, I would predict. I want to get there for the 16th of December for the 3rd Test match in Adelaide. But of course, there's the trickiest leg coming up where I need to find a boat from Singapore, Bali, basically anywhere in Southeast Asia, heading towards Northern Australia, ideally. So let's see how that goes first.
Well, it's very impressive what you're doing, Tommy. So there's one thing left to say, which is go well.
Thank you. Hope so.
Oh, it's a keen cricket fan, isn't it? But, you know, what a way to do it. Right, we're going to move on to sport now. The Premier League is back, Ian, with a bang, or perhaps just a moderately loud thud.
Yeah, I would go with that, Annabelle. The international break, loved by some, loathed by others, has been and gone. And once again, all eyes are on the Premier League. We'll have to wait until Monday night for Manchester United against Everton. But the rest of our sides play tomorrow. Before the break, Manchester City were in great form, Liverpool weren't in great form, and Burnley were teetering above the relegation zone. So what might the latest thrilling instalment bring? Let's look ahead via the medium of a short report.
Previously in the Premier League.
The Premier League might seem like a bit of a glitzy soap opera at times, but there's been no drama at Manchester City. After a slow start, they were hitting top form by the time they eased past Liverpool the gap on leaders Arsenal.
And now international break is done. Now the real season starts now. And the important is to be there, to be close there. Winning tomorrow will be an important step for us.
Yeah, it's the first time that I was gutted about having an international break, because after that Liverpool win, I really felt that City would push on, but play their bitter rival Spurs on Sunday. Surely that is too much of an opportunity not to take advantage of for the Blues.
The international break might have come at a good time for Liverpool, who've lost 5 of their last 6 Premier League matches. Tomorrow they host Nottingham Forest, who'd started to find form under new manager and former Everton boss Sean Dyche.
The best way to judge a league table is after 38 games, but the next best thing, in my opinion, is after 19 games. And let's see where we are then. But at this moment of time, the only focus we have is winning games of football, which it was actually the same last season at this moment of time.
Burnley, who are just outside the relegation zone on goal difference, host Chelsea in the lunchtime kick-off. After 2 good wins in October, their last...
To this moment, I take the positives, which there were many, many positives. Of course, ultimately, we didn't get a result. There's disappointment there. Of course, there wasn't for 3 days after the game. There's huge disappointment. But we move now and we go again.
Bit of Dallas there at the start as well. How about that? We'll look ahead to Manchester United versus Everton on Monday's programme, of course. But tonight, it's Lancashire Derby time in the Championship as Preston North End and Blackburn Rovers meet at a more or less sell-out Deepdale in just over an hour's time. Preston are having a fantastic season. They're currently 4th in the table and will move into the top 2 with a win. And though Rovers are down in 19th, their away form has been fairly good. So it is, in my rarely correct view, a close one to call.
100 single tickets left, that's it, dotted around the stadium, which really pleasing for me because that's, I think, a reflection of how well the players have been doing. They'll get after us. When they have the ball, they'll try and attack us. And we're preparing for that type of game.
Championship, anyone can beat anyone. Everyone has to be focused, to be ready to go. And we know what we are capable away. But we know it's another tough game against a team who got a lot of confidence. But we are ready to face the challenge.
Should be a good one. There's full match commentary on BBC Radio Lancashire with Andy Bayes alongside 2 excellent former Blackburn and Preston players, Paul Gallagher and Kevin Gallagher. Well, last night was a bad one for Stockport County. Unfortunately, they lost 3-0 at resurgent Peterborough United and in doing so dropped down to 2nd in League One. Dave Challoner's side may yet drop even further over the weekend with the top 7 teams all currently bunched together, which includes Bolton Wanderers. Now, they host Bradford City tomorrow in what's likely to be their biggest home crowd since their Premier League days. How about that as well? Well, we'll be catching up with Sale Sharks next week before the return of the Prem and the return of their internationals, with 5 involved in the England squad for Sunday's final Autumn Series international against Argentina. Last weekend, Sharks' George Ford put on a masterclass to help England to a first win on home soil over New Zealand since 2012. And congratulations now to Cheshire runner Alex Welch. He's won an ultra-marathon across the Namibian desert in a record-breaking time. Sounds like fun, that. He cried with relief as he finished the 230 kilometres in 24 hours and 27 minutes. Not only did he brave temperatures reaching 53 degrees, the runners were also at risk from lions and deadly snakes and spiders.
I'm absolutely delighted to have won the race. It's been a tough 5 days. A fantastic set of athletes out there from different parts of the world. Amazing to race with these guys, to see the wildlife on course. I just thought it's an opportunity to grow, to challenge myself in an environment that I'm not comfortable, obviously, in Manchester where it rains all the time.
I don't know what to say about that. To think I thought my 47-minute walk around Salford Quays in temperatures of circa 4 degrees Celsius was gruelling today and torturous.
Yes. Well, it really isn't. But to say also that Alex is amazing, because he came in, I don't know if you remember, he came in and he did one of the toughest ultramarathons. He did it around the Arctic. He did 230 kilometres in the Arctic.
This guy, he's a phenomenon.
He's amazing, isn't he? Thank you, Ian. Kay is here now, as you can see, and you come to talk about your 25 and 25. We've been doing this over the weeks, well, over the whole year, basically showcasing the best of the North West.
We've been to some amazing places.
We have. I met such lovely people.
Beautiful
Where have
people.
you been this
I
time?
took a short flight, very short indeed, and I met a wonderful man who took me on a tour of some of his absolute favourite places. I can always rely on my weather watchers to show me the best of the places that they call home. And one man behind some of my favourite photos is Peter Kenyon. He's on the Isle of Man.
As soon as I get there, I don't just get my fishing rod out or cycle off or go running. I'll look around me and I'll see something and I think, oh, the light's just perfect for a photograph today. So I'll snap a photograph, and that's when I put them on the weather watches, because I'm happy with my photographs. So if other people are happy with the photographs, they might come over to the Isle of Man and see us. So it's free advertising for the Isle of Man, really.
He's passionate about sharing the island's incredible views.
Half a man in the distance, Kitterland, which I've been on my kayak. Not many people have been on Kitterland.
You've been on there?
Yeah.
So assuming not on a choppy day?
No, not on a choppy day. It's a lovely, calm day.
He took me on a short tour of some of his favourite spots.
It's such a beautiful place. And since I retired, I go out and do all my favourite hobbies. And I go fishing, for example. I can just sit down and look at the views and take it all in. And that's why I put the photographs up on the weather watches, because I just love people to come to the islands and see the views for themselves, because it's just absolutely stunning. It's okay, this is my favourite spot I've been telling you about. So welcome to the Nyarbel. And I just love it here. Just look at the colour on the rocks, the beauty, the rough seas. Over there, you can see Carthaman in the distance, Tronquilliere Relay, all the purple heather coming up on the hills there. Just absolutely beautiful. Whether the tide's in or the tide's out, still a stunning place.
It is stunning.
Beautiful.
It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, one of the best places in the world. Gotta be.
So with incredible views, even better company, I think it's fair to say the Isle of Man has won me over.
Beautiful.
It absolutely did. I loved it. Although the stick I got for that outfit is not fair.
Well, we couldn't miss you.
Interesting fact, did you know that Peter Kenyuk's son, you probably already knew, is the Peter Kenyuk who won gold for Team GB cycling. So there you go. You probably already do. Anywho, thank you, Peter. Now, today, it has still been cold, but we've already started to see that change come in with cloud rolling in. Here we were in Lancashire, still blue skies, temperatures about 4 degrees. On the Wirral, similar scenes. Thanks for sending those photos in. They will completely change over the weekend with more in the way of cloud. And temperatures on the rise, and that's all thanks to low pressure sweeping in. So, rain around as we head overnight tonight. Low pressure stays in charge into the weekend. More importantly, temperatures will be much higher than they have been. So, early doors, temperatures dropping, but they're going to start to pick up as we head overnight. The Isle of Man seeing the rain first. The rain pushes through. On the leading edge, over the tops of the Pennines and the Fells, could be a little bit of a wintry mix. Elsewhere, mostly rain. The winds will strengthen and temperatures will pick up as we head towards the end of the night, ending up about 9 degrees on the Isle of Man, where it will be dry first thing. Elsewhere, that rain is going to continue to sweep in. Some heavy, possibly the odd rumble of thunder, but it's an improving day tomorrow. It will turn drier and brighter. The odd shower possible, but for most it will be a dry afternoon with spells of sunshine and temperatures picking up, getting to about 10 degrees in some spots. 10 is 50 in Fahrenheit. Pushing over into Sunday, further rain and again over the tops of the Pennines and the Fells. You are likely to have some snow, amounts small, elsewhere rain. Some heavy downpours, some brighter spells in between. Top temperatures 9 degrees, and those temperatures will stay similar to that as we go into next week. That's your forecast.
So it is warming up a little bit, isn't it?
Ever so
Which is not a
slightly.
bad thing. Now, before we go, we just want to mention that it is that time of year ago when it is our Christmas stars time, and it's a time when you can really celebrate some very special people, the people that are always there to help and make a difference in your community.
So tell us about them. Nominate them for one of our Christmas Star Awards and give them the recognition they deserve. You can send your nominations to nwt@bbc.co.uk.
And we look forward to getting them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.